Hello and welcome to Yoga with Subhash. In this segment, we will be practicing a few of the asanas or postures which are excellent for strengthening the core area, the abdominal muscles. So let's get started. So we'll start by lying down on the abdomen on your mat and just relax for the first few breaths. You can either keep the arms alongside the body or you can fold your elbows under your chin or your forehead and just relax there for 2 or 3 breaths. Okay, we'll get started now. So let's lift the head up and come up on the elbows. Position the elbows directly under the shoulders. You can either keep the forearms straight out in front, parallel to each other, or you can join the hands and interlock the fingers together. Now curl the toes under and lift the knees and the buttocks off the floor. So this is what we call the plank on the forearms. Here the body is completely parallel to the ground and there is a gentle mental effort to push the heels backwards and gently rolling the shoulders forward. So there may not be any effective movement of the body, but that effort of pushing the heels back and rolling the shoulders forward will keep the body straight and also provide maximum workout for the core muscles. And then you can try and maintain this position for whatever duration you feel comfortable. And when you want to come out of the pose, just release the knees down, thighs down, and just rest for 2 or 3 more breaths. Next, we will do a variation of the same pose, and we call that the upward facing dog and downward facing dog on the forearms. So once again, lift the head up, curl the toes under, lift the knees and the buttocks up. Bring the initial position with the body completely parallel to the floor and the elbows directly or vertically under the shoulders. With the next inhalation, slowly begin to roll the shoulders forward and try to bring them as far out in front as you can. Lift the head and chest up, lower the buttocks slightly down, making sure that the knees or the thighs do not touch the floor, but they are down and the shoulders are lifted up. And with the next exhalation, roll the shoulders all the way back, lower the forehead down, lift the buttocks all the way up, lift the heels all the way up. So that becomes the downward facing dog. And we'll continue these moves for a few more breaths. So as you inhale, rolling the shoulders forward, lifting the head and chest up, lowering the knees down without touching the floor. And as you exhale, once again, roll the shoulders all the way back, lifting the buttocks up, heels up. Let's do it one more time. Inhale into the upward facing dog. Exhale into the downward facing dog. And you may like to continue this for whatever duration your body allows you to do that. And when you want to come out of the pose, once again, bring the body back to the plank position for a moment. And when you want to come out of the pose, bring the knees down to the floor, but this time we'll come into the child pose by rolling the buttocks all the way back, and if possible, resting the buttocks on the heels, lowering the forehead down, keeping the arms very relaxed, and staying there for a few breaths in in the child pose, Balasana. It's a very relaxing pose. And now we're going to slowly lift the head up, come back up to a sitting position, and then slowly sit back up on your buttocks with the legs stretched out in front. And just rest there for a couple more breaths here. And now we'll do another pose. We call it the supported boat pose, Naukasana. And in this one, we will support ourselves on the elbows. So sit up on the elbows now. So reclining with the elbows resting on the floor, and you kind of half seated on your elbows. And now slowly begin to lift the legs off the floor. Keep the legs very straight without bending the knees. Lift the feet about the same height as the head above the floor. And we call it the supported boat pose because we are using the elbows for support. And now we're going to try and maintain this position with the head and the feet lifted up for whatever duration you are comfortable with. And within a short time, you will begin to feel that it is really working on our core muscles and the spine. So it's a very excellent pose for the health of the spine, as well as working to strengthen the core muscles. And when you want to come out of the pose, slowly release the feet down and very gently lower the back and the head down and rest there for a couple of breaths now. And to release any tightness from the neck muscles, just roll the head side to side a couple of times. Gentle roll without forcing any move. Just a couple of rolls on each side. Just getting rid of any tightness from the neck muscles. And next we will once again come back up on the elbows, and this time we will do what we call the leg lifts from the same reclining position, resting on the elbows. So sit up on the elbows, and here with the feet we are going to have two options. One is to keep the feet about 2 to 3 inches above the ground. If that becomes too challenging, you can keep the feet down on the ground. And we'll do these movements. These are repetitive movements, but done with full synchronization with the breath. So with the next inhalation, begin to raise the right leg all the way up to a vertical position. When the leg reaches up, you curl the toes down, push the heel away from you. Pause for a very brief moment and then begin to release the leg down with the exhalation. And again, you can either bring the foot all the way down to the ground or keep it lifted off the floor about a couple of inches. With the next inhalation, lift the left leg up, curl the toes down towards you, heel pushed away, pause for a moment. As you exhale, bring the leg back down to the original spot. Continue lifting the right leg again as you inhale all the way up, curl the toes down. And as you exhale, very slow and gentle, synchronized with the breath, bring the leg back down. Continue on with the left leg, raising the leg all the way up. Curl the toes down when the leg reaches the vertical spot. And as you exhale, begin to release the leg down, slow and smooth. And we'll just pause for an extra breath here. And now when you're ready, We will lift both the legs together. Again, the effort is to keep the legs very straight, but if that begins to bother you, feel free to bend the knees very slightly and then lift the legs up to a vertical position with the inhalation. Keep the toes curled downwards towards you, and with the next exhalation, once again slowly begin to lower the legs down. Bring them back to the original position. Let's repeat this one more time. Inhale, lift the legs all the way up to a vertical position. Curl the toes down. Exhale, very slow and smooth. Bring the legs down. And finally, allow the body to rest on the ground. So lower the back down, head down, feet down, and rest for a few breaths now. So this is a very simple sequence of poses that you can do to develop a very strong core, the abdominal area, and also developing a strong lower back.